I can't get enough of you. Subscribe, like, and share. I think I like you, Director. So-eun gathered her courage. She could no longer endure these feelings. She had to convey this torment to him. I'm human too. My feelings are starting to grow again. They're being fueled by warmth and kindness, just like before. I can't make the same mistake again. This time, I'll cut it off early. I'm sorry to say this all of a sudden. I know it's been only a few days since I broke up with my ex, but when you change so abruptly, my heart, which used to beat out of fear, now beats without knowing why. Just because I've failed in one relationship doesn't mean all men look like stones or seaweed to me. I think my heart has become too weak. And she needed to sort out this torment. She knew well that she shouldn't waver anymore for this cold, indifferent, yet warm and kind man. Moving teams wasn't my choice, but I know I can leave the TF team voluntarily. I'm sorry, but I'll quit the TF team. I'll focus only on my current work. A heart that was bound to deepen. If she continued like this, her feelings would become uncontrollable. Let's end this now. I won't let the wound grow any further. I know you trusted me enough to give me this task, and I really appreciate it, but I think I'm going to be a burden to the team if I keep going like this. I'm sorry for having personal feelings towards you, Director. This time, I'll cut it off early. I won't waver anymore. I'll send you the money for the lenses tomorrow. As for the moon jar, it will take some time, but I'll compensate you with money. How many times will I kick my blanket in regret tonight? Will I be able to go to work properly tomorrow? What will I say when I go to pick up the glasses? Will I be able to wear those glasses? Her vision blurred as much as her uncertain future. I'll take the bus home. Thank you for today.
Goodbye.
So-eun bowed and turned away after finishing her words. It's okay. It was something you had to say someday.
You did well, So-eun.
Today might be embarrassing, but tomorrow will be better. I'll never hate you for being so foolish. I know you lived your best today. I'll always cheer for you, walking step by step. You did well, So-eun. She kept comforting herself, but eventually, tears burst out. She hadn't shed tears when breaking up with Yang Hee-wook, but here she was, crying over a brief, budding love. So-eun, foolish enough to fail in love once and now again in uncontrollable feelings. I, who have only learned how to win, am about to play a game that no one loses. I will enjoy this fleeting moment of emotion and then leave, and So-eun will live on without knowing anything. Knowing the end, I cannot move forward. Don't overdo it. You need to be presentable for your aunt and grandfather. Fearing to lose what I have barely regained, I cannot retreat. You've been listening well so far, so that's enough. I'm just going to play with it for a bit, you know. Director, I have something to tell you. Yes, go ahead. I think I like you, Director. It was an extremely hot day. The air was so stifling it was hard to breathe even standing still. The crazy weather coupled with lack of sleep. Did I go mad and hallucinate? Did I hear nonsense? What are you going to do now? I warned you. If my aunt and grandfather find out, they will send her away and we will never see her again. It's done. I don't care what the end may be. Hearing So-eun's voice, Tae-joon felt out of touch with reality. It wasn't until she threw her confession and turned away that he snapped back to his senses. Tae-joon took a step forward and grabbed So-eun's hand. Her frail body, as if it would collapse with a gust of wind, turned sharply with his pull. Tae-joon's eyes widened as he faced her. In a moment where his mind felt paralyzed, her face was infuriatingly beautiful, and he gritted his teeth. So-eun's eyes sparkled like a window after the rain. Tears hung precariously at the corners, ready to fall. She, who had held back tears even when she had problems with her ex-boyfriend. Why do you make it so hard? Why do you always have to be so sincere? If only you were a little more cunning. If only you were as twisted as I am. Every moment, you make me well up with your purity and diligence. This woman, who knows how to keep manners and works hard at everything she's told, made him resentful. I shouldn't reach out. It would be the beginning of the end, like a domino effect, collapsing everything painstakingly built. The closer we get, the more the heart will be tainted. But he was already at a point where he couldn't stop. Is that all? After telling me and running away? So-eun, unable to understand why he held on to her, became more dazed than right after her confession. This was the first time seeing Director Kim Tae-joon with such a desperate face. A man who, no matter what happened in his domain, even during a fire at the company, acted as calmly as a seasoned firefighter, now had eyes that wavered. He looked desperate, as if he was surrendering to everything, yet beautiful. This man who had everything seemed pitiful somehow. Having recklessly confessed, So-eun intended to turn cleanly and leave, hiding her embarrassment. Being held like this, her once firm heart weakened again. So-eun, what are you going to do now? The more his grip tightened, the more she wanted to follow wherever he pulled her. Without realizing it, So-eun held onto his arm. Fears and worries crumbled in the hot air. Tae-joon lowered himself and embraced her shoulders. In his large, comforting arms, which had held her after breaking up with Yang Hee-wook and leaving the hotel, her heart pounded like an earthquake. This was a clearer sign of his heart than any words. So-eun felt like she might melt away like ice cream in summer in his embrace. So-eun's small body fit perfectly into Tae-joon's embrace, making him feel tender. He felt a strong desire to protect this small figure. His deep sigh flowed slowly down her neck, making So-eun flinch and squirm. Tae-joon's breath inside his throat grew warmer in response. Although he wanted to hold her forever, it wasn't the right place. Tae-joon loosened his tight grip and took a half step back. So-eun didn't raise her head. Tae-joon tilted his head slightly to check her face. Her face was as red as the flesh of a ripe watermelon. Even though she had dated before, she was still openly shy like this. Tae-joon found her reaction amusing, and another sigh escaped his lips. The dilemma of what to do next disappeared. Should we go? What do you mean? Tae-joon held So-eun's hand and returned to the car. After seating So-eun in the passenger seat, he got into the driver's seat and started the car. It was only after the car began to move that So-eun seemed to regain her senses. Although the excitement of the confession hadn't completely subsided, being released from the hug and having her hand let go made her realize the reality. What have I done? What does this person feel about me? You can't just fill in the blanks in Excel and expect an answer to pop out. This is different. She had thrown herself into the confession, setting its end alone. And it seemed that this person had changed his direction because of her confession. It seemed to have brought about a change in his feelings. So where are we going now? This doesn't seem like the way to my house. Are we going to eat as he mentioned? I'm still a bit embarrassed. After a long silence, So-eun finally opened her mouth. Director, where are we going now? To my house, Tae-joon answered. So-eun bit her lower lip nervously at Tae-joon's casual response. Tae-joon, enjoying her reaction, reached out and held So-eun's hand tightly as she clung to her bag. Did you think I'd let you go home? Absolutely not. I can't just let you go, not knowing how your words might change tomorrow. So, except when he needed his right hand for driving, Tae-joon kept holding So-eun's hand throughout the journey. Hee-wook went to a department store to buy an engagement ring for Hyunji. It was the only domestic store of an international jewelry brand, so he had to make time in the evening and drive there. The jewelry shop was in the middle of a hallway lined with luxury brands. The weather was sultry, and even inside the cool department store, he couldn't shake off his irritation. Welcome. Are you the reserved customer? Still, stepping into the store, he received special treatment. Hee-wook was guided to the coolest spot and offered a lemonade with ice, smiling bitterly inside. The ring you mentioned over the phone is this one, sir. The woman in white gloves showed Hee-wook the ring. Under the brilliant lighting, the ring sparkled beautifully. However, he couldn't accept that it was worth 50 million won. If this is the engagement ring, she'll ask for a different wedding ring. How expensive will that be? The thought made his head ache. Amidst his bitter thoughts, Hee-wook noticed the price tag. It was different from what he saw online. But the price is different. I checked, and it was 50 million won.
Yes.
It was increased yesterday. It's the head office's policy. So, you increased it by 5 million won in one day? Hyuk thought his love was indeed expensive. No, I'll be compensated enough once I get married. He thought of the fortune Hyunji's father would bestow upon him and paid for the ring. This is an investment for the future. Seeing his account balance drop by 55 million, one felt like losing an organ. While the staff brought out a new product and explained various details while packaging it, Hyuk, feeling drained, looked outside the store. His eyes widened. He saw So-eun and Director Kim Tae-joon walking together. Thinking he might be hallucinating after briefly thinking about So-eun, Hyuk rushed out of the store. The distant figures of the woman and man looked exactly like So-eun and Kim Tae-joon. And So-eun's outfit. It looked like something she wore when meeting him. Back at his seat, Hyuk urged the staff. Is it ready yet? It's done. Here it is, sir. Thank you, sir. Good luck with your proposal. Grabbing the packaged ring, Hyuk left the store without acknowledging the staff's greeting. The woman and man had already disappeared. Hyuk muttered curses under his breath as he quickly walked around the area. I must have seen wrong. How could someone like So-eun be with Kim Tae-joon? Stupid, naive So-eun could never seduce Kim Tae-joon. A woman with no notable education, job, or family background. Even if they had a brief fling, someone as significant as Kim Tae-joon wouldn't take such a trivial woman seriously. Aside from her looks, she had nothing. She would only tarnish Kim Tae-joon's reputation. Ugh, stop worrying about unnecessary things and focus on my issues. Fidgeting with the ring case, Hyuk returned to his car and began looking up jewelers dealing with imitation products. No matter how much he thought about it, the money felt wasted. Spending 55 million won on an engagement ring that he would only wear for a short time wasn't sensible. Even though he would gain many benefits by becoming part of Choi Hyunji's family, the ring felt like a constant waste. Unlike a house or land, which appreciate in value, a ring is a luxury item that would never sell for its original value. He felt disappointed with Hyunji for making him spend money on such things. The drive from the department store to Tae-joon's house wasn't far, and the car soon arrived at Tae-joon's apartment. At least it'll be easier to get you inside this time, since you're awake. Tae-joon got out first to open the door for So-eun. By the way, just so you know, I lied when I told you that I carried you all the way to the 30th floor. Oh, I see. When Tae-joon smiled at this, his phone vibrated. It was a call from his aunt,
Sukwa.
He ignored the first call, but when it rang again, he couldn't ignore it any longer. Just a moment. I have to answer this call. Okay. Tae-joon answered the call while holding So-eun's hand and walking. I have to end this call quickly. Hello. Tae-joon, are you off work? Where are you? Yes, I'm heading home. Oh, great. I'm on my way to your place too. Tae-joon stopped in his tracks. So-eun stopped with him. I'm in the parking lot. Where are you? Tae-joon looked at So-eun with hesitant eyes. He couldn't let his aunt meet So-eun. Unaware, So-eun was licking her dry lips with wide eyes. He could hear a car approaching from the other side. I can see your car. I'll come to you. Tae-joon hurriedly moved her back into the car. Tae-joon's voice dropped after ending the call. Could you wait inside the car for a moment?
Huh?
Okay, but why? Just wait for a moment. I have to go see my aunt. Without waiting for So-eun's response, he closed the door and ran towards the approaching car. Tae-joon, aunt. Tae-joon greeted her warmly, though he was burning inside. He needed to send her off quickly without a long argument. His aunt, Sukwa, waved at him as she got out of her car. I heard you broke the moon jar. I'm sorry. So, I brought a Josian white porcelain this time. How about it? Isn't it more stable? Take this one. I came all the way here to give it to you. It will look nice next to the broken moon jar. Tae-joon had no choice but to accept the gift from his aunt. Thank you. I'll take good care of it this time. By the way, did Secretary Song Moon-kyung tell you? Of course not. Secretary Song is very discreet. I'm a bit jealous you asked Secretary Song first instead of me, but I'm glad you two are getting along well. She's a good person, very professional. When you mentioned finding something similar to the moon jar, Secretary Song contacted the curator while I was meeting with him. It was cute how he adamantly denied it was a big deal. Did she tell you something? Could it be that she told her something about me and So-eun? You mean Secretary Song? I wish. Do you think she would? She's the type to keep her mouth shut. Encouraging him warmly, Seok-hwa patted Tae-joon's arm and opened her car door. I've delivered the gift, so I'll be going now. Aren't you coming up? No, I have an appointment. Seok-hwa got into her car. I'm sorry, I'll call you next time. No problem. But yes, it's better to call first. You might come for nothing.
True.
Take care. Tae-joon waved her off, occasionally glancing at where his car was parked. Once her car was out of sight, he returned to his car. I'm sorry, my aunt. He opened the passenger door to apologize, but the words caught in his throat. So-eun wasn't there. Tae-joon received a text message. It was from So-eun. I'm sorry, Director. I'll head home now. So-eun quietly slipped out of Tae-joon's car and left the apartment. She got on a bus in front of the apartment, not knowing where to go, and transferred to another bus at a familiar place. Tae-joon's action of pushing her back into the car because his aunt had arrived snapped her back to reality. She wasn't too upset. Perhaps deep down, she had always known this was inevitable. Of course, he would hide me. We don't belong together. Even if we date, we could never be truly open about it. Maybe he took me lightly because I confessed my feelings first. It's a good thing I realized this early. Walking home from the bus stop, the world still felt oppressively humid, grounding her in reality. The brief excitement she felt in his arms and holding his hand already seemed like a dream. I need to come to my senses now. Resolving to stay strong, she walked with determination. When she finally neared home, she quickened her pace, but then suddenly stopped. Tae-joon was standing in front of her house. The unexpected sight left her speechless. Tae-joon, who had walked up to meet her, spoke first. You didn't answer my calls.
I'm sorry.
I turned it off at the train station. I don't want to hear apologies. At Tae-joon's reprimand, So-eun pursed her lips. I don't like my aunt interfering in my affairs. It's too early for that. If she finds out from the start, wouldn't it be troublesome for you too? It wasn't the real reason, but he hoped she would understand. So-eun was someone his aunt and grandfather should never know about. Likewise, So-eun shouldn't know anything. So-eun, deep in thought with her head down, made him anxious. Aren't you hungry? I'm starving. Trying to gauge her reaction, he tilted his head slightly. She still seemed hesitant, so he added another line. Since we're in your neighborhood, you should buy me dinner, So-eun. Reacting to the absence of the title Miss after her name, or perhaps the request to buy dinner, So-eun blinked and opened her mouth slightly. Dinner? What would you like to eat? Whatever you like best, So-eun. This way, come. As if in a trance, So-eun nodded and hurriedly led the way. She really is good at following instructions, thought Tae-joon, feeling a sense of relief as he followed her. So-eun took Tae-joon to her snack bar near her house. Is this your favorite place? The kimbap here is delicious. But if you don't like it, we can go somewhere else. It was already past 9 p.m., and many restaurants were closed. They didn't have the luxury of finding another place. Order anything you want. I can buy it all for you. Tae-joon smiled at her adorable confidence. Can I order everything on the menu? I don't mind, but it might take a while to come out, and the owner might find it burdensome. That's okay with me, but wouldn't we take too long here? You must be tired too. It was amusing how she took his joke seriously. What kind of kimbap do you like? I like double kimbap, aged kimchi kimbap, and tuna kimbap. What's double kimbap? It's kimbap with twice the fillings. Then let's get double kimbap, aged kimchi kimbap, and tuna kimbap. So nodded and placed the order. The owner's quick hands had the food ready in no time. The double kimbap lived up to its name, being quite large. Though the rice quantity was reduced to accommodate more fillings, It still looked big to Tae-joon. He found it fascinating that So-eun liked something so substantial. He wanted to watch her eat. So-eun, however, regretted ordering the double kimbap. The owner had rolled it bigger than usual today, and she was worried she would look like a hippo opening her mouth in front of the man she liked. "Can you eat that? It looks huge." Of course. Though she answered confidently, she wasn't sure. Debating whether to lower her head or cover her mouth with one hand while eating, she watched Tae-joon's moves. Tae-joon quickly gulped down the water from his cup and went to refill it. Taking advantage of the moment, So-eun put the double kimbap in her mouth. As expected, the double kimbap filled So-eun's small mouth completely. It took her a long time to chew it. Sensing that So-eun was watching him, he pretended not to notice, fiddling with his phone, scrutinizing the restaurant, and reading the menu. It was amusing to see the double kimbap disappear one piece at a time every time he turned his gaze elsewhere. In truth, he would have enjoyed watching her eat, but this new game was also entertaining. After So-eun paid the bill, they left the restaurant, each sucking on a candy given by the owner. "Thanks for the meal. It was great," Tae-joon said politely. "No, thank you. I enjoyed it too," So-eun replied, bowing her head. Only after finishing the meal did So-eun realize that Tae-joon had been considerate. He seemed to have noticed how large the double kimbap was and had looked away to give her space to eat comfortably. How does one develop such sensibility? Does it come naturally from dating many women? Suddenly, So-eun found herself curious about his past. No, more than his past, she was curious about his present. Thinking about it, she had never received a clear answer from him. "Director Kim Tae-joon, I told you I like you. What about you? What are you feeling right now? Standing next to me." "Director, can I ask you something?" Tae-joon stopped in his tracks. "Do you have a girlfriend?" Gathering her courage, So-eun asked.